Welcome back. You're watching To The Point. The NDA has got a sweeping majority in the Lok Sabha, but the situation is very different in the upper house. There, the BJP has only 42 seats and the NDA as a whole just 59. That's way short of the halfway mark of 123. So can the NDA make up the numbers, or could its legislation suffer? With me, Akali Dal MP Naresh Gujral, BJP MP Pinaki Mishra, joining us soon Trinamool MP Saugata Roy, and also with me in studio the well-known columnist and commentator Aarti Jairath. Naresh Gujral, the NDA has 59 seats in the Rajya Sabha out of a total of 245. To reach the halfway mark of 123, you need 64 seats more, which is in fact more than double your present tally. So how are you going to pass legislation in the upper house?
Karan, the Prime Minister has repeatedly been stressing the importance of true federalism. Time and again he has said that he wishes to take the state chief ministers along and he wants them to be accorded full respect. As long as the chief ministers feel that they are being made partners in progress, I don't see a problem there. No MP likes to oppose something which is in the national interest just for the sake of opposing a bill.
That sounds extremely idealistic, and may I add also, it sounds as if you're really relying on nothing more than sentiment rather than anything closer to political affiliation. Are you being wise to rely on something as slender as that?
Karan, I have seen how Parliament has been functioning for the last 7 years. I've been a member of Rajya Sabha for 7 years. Most important thing is, are you trying to communicate with the opposition? Are you trying to build consensus on issues? Are you being courteous to the opposition? Who were the ministers whose bills would get stuck? Those who were perceived to be arrogant.
All right.
The ones who were not perceived to be arrogant, they never had a problem.
Okay, let me test that with an independent opinion here in studio with me. Aarti Jairath, two twin questions together. Do you really believe that the sort of sentiment of federalism that you're hearing from Naresh Gujral is sufficient and strong enough to ensure a measure of bipartisan support where in fact the numbers aren't with the NDA in the Rajya Sabha? And even if it were to do so, would it bring across, say, the votes of the AIA, DMK, the BJD and the TMC?
Well, you know, Karan, the numbers are so precarious for the ruling NDA that even if they get the AIDMK, the BJD and the TMC on board, I think they still don't reach the halfway mark.
Not at all. They'll still get to 85 only.
Exactly.
They'll be 38 short.
Exactly. So they are going to have to reach really across the political spectrum. They're going to have to reach across to the Congress, they're going to have to reach across to the BSP, SP, you know, and those are like serious rival parties for the BJP. So, I mean, it's going to take some enormous amount of floor coordination, and I think even if the Prime Minister doesn't do it personally, he's going to have, you know, good managers who will do it for him.
The first step in that reaching across, Pinaki Mishra, is to reach across to you and to your Chief Minister, Naveen Patnaik. Only after that does the question arise how much further the Prime Minister can reach across. And I want to quote to you what Naveen Patnaik has said. He says, "We will play a constructive role, a positive role as far as the central government is concerned." Does that mean you'll extend issue-based support, or is it still undecided? Because Naveen Patnaik's language was deliciously, if not tantalizingly vague.
Well, you know Mr. Naveen Patnaik well, Karan, for the last several decades. So you know that he, when he speaks in measured tones. The fact of the matter is that the Prime Minister and the BJP have been voted to power for 5 years to form a government at the center. And Mr. Naveen Patnaik and the BJD has been voted for 5 years to form a government at the state. And we are not going to be needlessly adversarial with a Prime Minister who has begun well. We all met him the other day with the Chief Minister. The Prime Minister was very gracious. He said, look, I've been a Chief Minister myself, so I realize how much the states are in need of central cooperation, and believe you me, you will get that cooperation.
All right.
This is a different era. I believe the Congress party, with its complete lack of leadership and its complete vendetta towards states which didn't vote for it, was a different ball game.
Okay.
I think there will be no needless adversarial attitude between the state and the center in the next 5 years.
Now, those words, no needless adversarial relationship between the state and centre, will certainly bring a big smile to Naresh Gujral's face. But I have Saugata Roy, a TMC member and a leading MP from that party with me. Dr. Roy, you've heard a hint from Pinaki Mishra of the BJD that they could, on critical issues, lend support in the Rajya Sabha to the NDA. What about your party? You have 12 Rajya Sabha seats. But if I recall correctly, you had a very acrimonious set of exchanges with Mr. Modi in particular right through the elections. Your colleague Derek O'Brien called him the butcher of Gujarat. Your leader Mamata Banerjee called him a donkey. Are you suddenly prepared to put all that aside and give Mr. Modi the support he needs when it comes to critical legislation in the Rajya Sabha? Or will the bad blood of the campaign continue to cause problems?
No, it has nothing to do with the bad blood of the campaign. We cannot assure at this stage of the government of any support in the Rajya Sabha. But the party has to take a call on that, and I am sure the party will take a call and inform them. But I can tell you that the BJP government or the NDA government and the centre is in no position to pass any legislation in the Rajya Sabha. At present, out of the 238 members of Rajya Sabha...
I'll stop you there. We know the figures. That we've already discussed before you joined us. So I agree with you that they're in no position. That's why I'm asking you this question. You did begin by saying no decision is taken, but are you leaving open the possibility of supporting the NDA on critical legislation?
Why say that we are leaving open? At the moment, there is no such possibility. The party takes a call, it will take later.
All right. Those are very important words, Naresh Gujral. At the moment, there is no possibility, but if the party takes a call, it will take it later. You've got not even an indirect commitment. So I come back to my key question. Even if theoretically, and that's now probably questionable, one were to add AIA, DMK, BJD and TMC to your tally, you still only go up to 85, you're still 38 short. Now if one adds the 10 nominated MPs and the 9 independents, and by the way, all of them may not go with you, but if one assumes they do, you are still 19 short. So no matter how one adds the thing up, you end up being critically short. So do you accept you're going to have to reach out to people you've had no relationship with? As Aarti Jarat said, you're going to have to reach out to Congress, to the Samajwadi Party, the BSP, and that could be something that sticks in your throat.
You're absolutely right, Karan. That's exactly what needs to be done. We have to deal with them with courtesy. We have to deal with them with magnanimity. We have to make sure that we are helpful towards their problems, their constituency problems when they bring to a minister, that those things are addressed. And obviously, it takes two hands to clap. They have their problems in their states. When they come to the center, they would also need the help of the Prime Minister. So I'm sure some kind of a working relationship will emerge very soon.
Naresh Gujral has been outstandingly honest when he says we're going to have to deal with these people with courtesy, we're going to have to reach out to them, and we're going to have to treat them differently to the way we've spoken of them. But Naresh Gujral could be an exception. Do you think there are others in the BJP who actually have to do the dealing who would be prepared to follow his advice?
Well, you know, Karan, it takes two hands to clap. Even if the BJP does decide to be magnanimous and courteous and reach out to them and help them with their constituency problems, the Congress has to respond similarly. You know, and I think we need to ask the Congress that how much are they ready to cooperate, because they
do you really believe it's Congress, or do you think in fact it's the smaller parties? Because Congress may find it very difficult.
The Congress may find it very difficult, absolutely, because for the last 10 years they have been accusing the BJP of obstructing them on every issue, whether right or wrong. But that's been the accusation. And you know, the tendency is to pay the BJP back in the same coin.
Absolutely.
You know, so is the Congress going to do that? And then if you're looking at Samajwadi Party and the BSP, I mean, there's already a huge row going on between the Samajwadi Party and the BJP over the, you know, sort of serial rapes that are going on in UP. So, you know, I mean, it's going to be very difficult. I mean, they really need some excellent floor management.
In fact, the test of this particular pudding, if I can use the wrong simile at this moment, Pinaki Mishra, is the ability of the NDA to secure some sort of arrangement with with your BJD, and then beyond that with people like the AIA, DMK and the TMC. In your specific case, will your support depend upon getting special category status for Orissa, for a decision on mineral royalties, or the halting of Polavaram? All of those were issues your Chief Minister mentioned in public. Are those, in a sense, unstressed conditions? If granted, you'll give support. If not, you won't. I'm asking you to be blunt, because one imagines that when this sort of deal and understanding is reached, it will be based on some sort of quid pro quo.
Look, Karan, we are going to be completely reasonable about this. You know, you cannot have a wish list and have every single wish there and granted immediately. But I think in the long run, we have 5 years, to deal with the central government. I believe these are issues of long pendency which should have been addressed many years back. The Congress party has deliberately, had this stepmotherly treatment towards Orissa. So I think this Prime Minister, having been a Chief Minister, having realized that many of these issues have great merit, has promised us that he will look into all these issues with the degree of importance and sobriety that is required.
Can I interrupt?
But there is no question of any quid pro quo. I think it's current.
I'm interrupting particularly because you said no quid pro quo.
The
because
BJP has already indicated, Karan, that they can.
Let me interrupt. The impression you're giving is one, once again, that will bring a big smile to Naresh Gujral. You're saying that these are issues of long standing, they can't be resolved immediately. You're saying this is a very understanding Prime Minister. More importantly, you said there's no quid pro quo. It seems to me as if you're sounding as if you're prepared to extend support on critical issues without demanding too much in return. That is great news for the BJP, if I've understood you correctly.
Look, Naveen Patnaik has always been a very reasonable leader, a very reasonable Chief Minister when he's dealt with the central government. And I think that is why every Prime Minister has found him absolutely faultless in his conduct as a Chief Minister vis-a-vis the central government. The fact of the matter is
you're
that
a great ambassador for him.
If they want,
you're a great. Let me stop you there, Mr. Mishra. You're a great ambassador for him. You've conveyed his reasonableness with almost proof today. So I'm going to conclude from what you said that there's a fair measure of support from the BJD that the BJP can expect without having to give too much in return. But Mr. Gujral, the BJD and Naveen Patnaik may be gentlemanly. You have no reason to expect that of Mamata Banerjee and the TMC. And certainly when it comes to Ms. Jayalalitha, she arrived with a 65-page memorandum in her hands listing a whole list of things that she wants done. Is there a danger that Mr. Modi could get into a sort of barter bargain situation? I'll do A if you give me support on B. And once again, it could become, if not messy, at least a morally untidy situation for him rather than a clean slate.
Karan, I don't think there is any question of barter or bargain. I heard Jay Panda on another channel. I heard what Odisha's demands were, and I thought most of them were totally justified.
But what about TMC demands and what about Anna DMK demands? Those may not be totally reasonable.
I'll come to TMC. I'll come to TMC. TMC has been demanding that their debt be restructured. In fact, in the last government, Finance Ministry's own committee said that the debt of West Bengal, Kerala and Punjab should be restructured. But nothing was done. So why give them a stepmotherly treatment?
But have
Mr.
you
Modi
got the
has
money
no
to
such
do
intention.
It? Have you got the money to do it? Mr. Jaitley keeps talking about financial and fiscal stringency.
And also,
if you have the intention, you will find the money.
No, but Naresh, you can't do it for just one state, right? Since the Finance Committee recommended...
I am talking of state after state.
That's right. The Finance Committee recommended it for 3 states. You'll have to do it for all 3.
That's right.
You know, you're talking of a situation where you could end up getting the support you want, but you could beggar the economy in the process.
Not at all. A lot of wasteful expenditure which was being indulged in needs to be curtailed.
You mean you've got the guts to cut subsidies and to raise diesel and petrol prices?
Everything will have to be looked at more rationally.
So the cost of support from the partners that you need in the Rajya Sabha could well be higher diesel prices for the rest of us. We may end up paying the bill of that support.
I don't agree with that. You are making it like as if it's a bargain. It's not a bargain. Every state has certain justified demands.
Okay.
And I think it's the duty of the centre to meet those justified demands. And as long as BJP is sensitive to those demands, I don't see a problem in the Rajya Sabha.
You know, we've got a very interesting situation, and I suspect this may well have to be the last question, but you had from Naresh Gujral an extremely reassuring sentence when he said, we need to reach out to people, we need to treat them properly. We don't have to be bullies just because we're in power. And then you had a very reasonable response from the BJD. Saugata Roy's response was quite different.
Yes.
Do you think that in fact there is room for at least some smaller parties to respond on critical issues to ensure that they don't become stumbling blocks for development, because that would cost them public image terms as well?
Absolutely. So, but you know, Karan, that means that the BJP will have to be dealing with every party on a piecemeal basis. Do you realize that? It's not just that, you know, it's not one blanket reach out. It has to be to each party separately. And each one, you know, whatever Naresh Gujral may say that it's not a barter system, sure, it's not a barter system. But obviously, the states would expect something in return for supporting the BJP at the center, right? And the first test is going to be the amendment to the TRAI Act, so that the principal secretary's appointment is, becomes
that will be
legal.
The first test
and that's
of
going to
support.
be the first test of support for the BJP and the first test of their floor management.
Very quickly, Naresh Gujral, you've been very reassuring. You've heard reassuring noises from the BJD, though not necessarily from Saugata Roy. I want to ask you one last question before I end this show. Are you really an optimist, or are you just putting on a very brave face because you're on TV? A quick answer.
No, I'm being very frank with you, and you will see in the days that come that we will be able to get over these humps very easily. But as long as the BJP floor managers do not get arrogant, that is the basic point.
And that is the warning from Naresh Gujral to his allies. He's named them, and he's been very bold in doing so. As long as the BJP floor managers don't get arrogant. That is always a danger when you feel you've got a huge majority in the Lok Sabha. My thanks to all four of my guests for joining me, and my apologies that we lost Saugata Roy so quickly. He has actually got a party meeting, and occasionally politicians do have something to do that is more important than appear in TV studios. There we end this particular episode. Goodbye, good night.